తగ్గించడానికి గిలియడ్ సైన్సెస్ ఇంక్ ప్రయోగాత్మక యాంటీవైరస్ డ్రగ్ సహాయపడుతుందని యుఎస్ అధ్యక్షుడు డొనాల్డ్ ట్రంప్ అన్నారు.
FDA ఈ డ్రగ్కి త్వరితగతిన అప్రూవల్ ఇవ్వాలని కోరారు. ఇది ఒక ఆరంభమని ట్రంప్ అన్నారు. మరియు కోవిడ్-19తో ఆసుపత్రిలో చేరిన రోగులకు ఇది సహాయపడుతుందని డేటా చూపిస్తుందని డాక్టర్ ఆంథోనీ ఫౌసీ అన్నారు. వైట్ హౌస్ సమావేశంలో ఫౌసీ మాట్లాడుతూ రెమిడిసివిర్ అనే ఔషధానికి సంబంధించిన డేటాను మరింత విశ్లేషించాల్సిన అవసరం ఉందన్నారు. వైరస్ నుండి కోలుకునే సమయాన్ని తగ్గించడంలో డ్రగ్ ఔషధానికి ప్రయోజనంగా ఉందని డేటా చూపిస్తుందని ఫౌసీ అన్నారు. డేటాను ఇంకా సమగ్రంగా సమీక్షించాల్సి ఉండగా ఇది చికిత్సకు అవకాశం కల్పిస్తుందని ఆయన అన్నారు. క్లినికల్ ట్రయల్లో కోవిడ్-19 ఉన్న రోగులకు ఫలితాలను మెరుగుపరచడానికి రెమిడిసివిర్ సహాయపడుతుందని, వైరస్ వల్ల కలిగే అనారోగ్య సమయంలో ఇంతకు ముందు ఇచ్చినప్పుడు ఇది బాగా పనిచేస్తుందని సూచించే డేటాను గిలియడ్ చెప్పారు.
Thank you very much. Before we get to a very good governor and somebody that we've worked with very, very well, incredibly well, great state of Louisiana, I wanted to introduce Dr. Blythe Adamson. She's been with us for a few months to help us with the ventilator situation because we took over a government where everything was missing. It was all missing in action, and she and a group of super geniuses straightened it out to a point we're now helping other countries with ventilators. France, Italy, Spain, Nigeria yesterday spoke to the president of Nigeria. Many countries are calling us for help with ventilators because they are not easy to build. I always say it's like building a car, highly sophisticated, especially what we're doing. We're doing a very high quality ventilator. So Blythe, if you could say a few words, please. We appreciate what you've done very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's been an honor to serve here. I've worked with a strong team from FEMA, CDC, Dr. Birx, the military, and it's been wonderful to see the evidence generation in real time, learning as fast as we can from what's happening with the epidemic to create mathematical models of these infectious diseases to understand the demand for these hospital resources, and to do forecasting of states like yours to understand how we can be prepared for what's coming. So thank you for the opportunity.
We just think you were fantastic.
Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, which is the institute I direct, sponsored, called the Adaptive Covirus Disease Treatment Trial, ACCT-1, was started in February 21st of this year. And it was a randomized placebo-controlled trial comparing the Gilead drug remdesivir with a placebo. It was highly powered with about 1,090 plus individuals. So it is the first truly high-powered randomized placebo-controlled trial. It was an international trial involving multiple sites, not only in the United States, but in various countries throughout the world, including Germany, Denmark, Spain, Greece, the UK, etc. The primary endpoint was the time to recovery, namely the ability to be discharged. When you have a study like this, we have a data and safety monitoring board which looks at the data. And they are independent, so there's no prejudice on the part of the investigators because they're doing the trial or the drug is from a certain company. The Data and Safety Monitoring Board on Monday afternoon contacted me on April 27th, first on Friday the week before and then again on April 27th, and notified the study team, namely the multiple investigators who are doing the study throughout the world, that the data shows that remdesivir has a clear-cut, significant positive effect in diminishing the time to recovery. This is really quite important for a number of reasons, and I'll give you the data. It's highly significant. If you look at the time to recovery being shorter in the remdesivir arm, it was 11 days compared to 15 days. And that's a p-value for the scientists who are listening of 0.001. So that's something that, although a 31% improvement doesn't seem like a knockout 100%, it is a very important proof of concept, because what it is proven is that a drug can block this virus. And I'll give you an example in a moment of why we think, looking forward, this is very optimistic. The mortality rate trended towards being better in the sense of less deaths in the remdesivir group. 8% versus 11% in the placebo group. It has not yet reached statistical significance, but the data needs to be further analyzed. The reason why we're making the announcement now is something that I believe people don't fully appreciate. Whenever you have clear-cut evidence that a drug works, you have an ethical obligation to immediately let the people who are in the placebo group know so that they could have access. And all of the other trials that are taking place now have a new standard of care. So we would have normally waited several days until the data gets further, dot the I and cross the T. But the data are not going to change. Some of the numbers may change a little, but the conclusion will not change. So when I was looking at this data with our team the other night, it was reminiscent of 34 years ago in 1986 when we were struggling for drugs for HIV. And we had nothing. And there was a lot of anecdotal reports about things that maybe did work, maybe not. People were taking different kinds of drugs. And we did the first randomized placebo-controlled trial with AZT, which turned out to give an effect that was modest. But that was not the end game, because building on that every year after, we did better and better. We had better drugs of the same type, and we had drugs against different targets. This drug happens to be blocking an enzyme that the virus uses, and that's an RNA polymerase. But there are a lot of other enzymes that the virus uses that are now going to be targets for this. This will be the standard of care. And in fact, when we look at the other trials we're doing, we were going to do a trial with another antiviral. Actually, it isn't an antiviral, it's an anti-inflammatory, a monoclonal antibody. We're going to now compare the combination of remdesivir with this. So as drugs come in, we're going to see if we could add on that. So bottom line, you're going to be hearing more details about this. This will be submitted to a peer-reviewed journal and will be peer-reviewed appropriately. But we think it's really opening the door to the fact that we now have the capability of treating. And I can guarantee you, as more people, more companies, more investigators get involved, it's going to get better and better. So I'll stop there, but I'd be happy to answer any questions.